Okay everyone, and here we go with the start of the MD7, MD8 helicopter. Here is the case. I already took the box out of it, but it's a really nice, smooth looking outer case. So they did a really good job on that. I already kind of did some pre-unpacking just to separate some things that I had in my package because it was a little different than what you'll see. And you might also see some fairly different things in your kit, depending on how it's all packaged up. But let's see what we got inside of here. So, let's see, busting that thing open. Looks like we've got manual, pretty nice looking manual here. So everything written in, so we've got Chinese and Chinese translated. So we'll go through this in detail. Looks like some exploded diagrams. Pretty standard, typical what we're used to. Nothing too detailed, but all the drawings there that you need. Next, it looks like we've got the frames. Those are pretty thick frames, thicker than what I usually get, so pretty large as well. So, I mean, this is my hand, so compared to it, that's a pretty large frame. Put that off to the side. Probably have this bag with most of the hardware in it. That's the main shaft, or the main gear. Looks like that comes almost pre-assembled. If just for a comparison, this is a main gear that I pulled out of another 700 helicopter, and this is the main gear of the MD7, MD8. So quite a bit larger, actually. You look at the size difference there. There's another 700 size helicopter. So very large there. Looks like we've got a bunch of hardware in here. All the shafts, all the head stuff. Looks like even some of the tail stuff may be pre-assembled, but we'll definitely double check and make sure we've got everything in there. The main shaft in here, I'll pull this out and show you this main shaft. This thing is a very large main shaft. So typically what you're going to get on a 700 size machine is a 12mm main shaft. So this is 15 here. If you want to compare to another one, so this is from a different 700 size kit, and this is from this one. So as you can see, quite a bit thicker. Yeah, so haul it out and all that good stuff to save on weight, but nice and thick, nice and strong. So that'll be a challenge to break compared to this one, which I managed to bend pretty easily. That's that stuff. Let's see what else we've got in here. Looks like there's tail booms here, so we've actually got two sets of tail booms. MD7 for building a 700 size, and all of the hardware included in there. And then we also have here at the bottom MD8. So you actually have the booms for a 700 size and a 800 size machine. So that's pretty cool right there. Looks like it includes blades, tail blades at least. If you order some main blades with it, you'll have main blades. If you don't, then you won't. Also has a really nice looking blade holder with the logo on it. See if I leave that or what I end up doing with it. That's pretty cool. And in here, I may have some extra stuff that you won't see in your kit, just because I ordered some spare parts here and there. But basically in this box you'll see the canopy. Beautiful looking canopy. Nice and strong. Yeah, fiberglass material. Got some holes in it for airflow. Pretty cool. I like the look of that. I'm not sure what the 0 is at the top, but maybe they made the canopy. That is a really nice looking canopy. I really like it. I don't see any front canopy mounts. I see something here. This is probably where the skids go in, where you put together. Grommets are already inserted in this rear. And actually, take a look at this rear canopy mount setup. It looks like it's actually it's got a little indentation pointing out. I wonder if that helps strengthen it once it's on the canopy mounts, but very nice looking canopy, I gotta say. That's going to be nice and visible. I like it. There's some other ones out there that have orange down here. You might actually be going for those ones instead. If you want to take a look at those here, I've got one. Okay, so here is the orange canopy, just for you guys who are curious and want to take a look at it and can't decide whether you like the orange or the yellow and green. But here's that one, also a very nice looking canopy. So either one are good. I think this time I'm going to go with this one. I think I will like the visibility of that. Who knows? We'll see. So that is that part. What else do we have in here? Looks like some skids and a couple other miscellaneous parts are going to be in here. Got some extra skids for mine. All the skid pipes. These are actually really big, pretty hard, beefy skids. So those are good. And then I've got some spare parts here. I've got some extra frame stuff. I've got my pinion. It includes your pinion, your 12-tooth pinion. Got some ball link ends, spacers, dampeners, tail gear shafts, torque tube gears, all of the miscellaneous hardware you'd find probably in this box here with the canopy. But again, your layout might be a little bit different. But that's basically the unboxing of the MD7 MD8 helicopter. Really nice materials. Looks like there's quite a bit of building. Not a whole lot of stuff pre-built, but you know, at least certain things. Flush plates. Looks like the tail gear is all the tail mechanical stuff is put together there. So, geez, look at the size of that manual. Okay, so that's the MD7, and we will go start opening up the manual and start with step 1 and get moving on this build. Okay, so here we are to start the build. We're going to start moving on to building the head, but first we'll take a quick look at the manual. Nice little cover page here, looks very professional. Typical stuff, talks about the helicopter a little bit, gives a caution, it's not a toy, make sure you're of the correct age and experience. Stay away from buildings and other people's property. Make sure you don't fly alone. Keep away from the rotating parts, they'll hurt you. Humidity can hurt the electronics. Heat can cause things to warp. Make sure you have regular maintenance. You're checking all the bearings, checking the main rotor. If things are wearing out, make sure that you're replacing them, lubing things up. Just typical advice about helicopters. To be safe, be smart, don't do anything stupid. As far as tools, talks about all of the recommended electronics and stuff, and all of the stuff that you'll need. I have, of course, some Scorpion hex drivers, standard sizes. I've also got another set of hex drivers. Usually you're going to need 2 of each kind, at least for things like the main shafts. Ball link pliers are a must. Needle nose, some wire cutters, and calipers, always good to have. And I've got some blue thread lock. I've also got some red, but that'll probably be rare use. And it moves on here to the first page in the assembly. It says here 700M VA. So that means you're going to want to pull out this bag that says VA on it, and that's got all the head parts. Everything described here. So I will open up this bag and lay out these parts, show you these as they're laid out here, and then we'll put this together and show you the finished product. Okay, now before I finish putting this whole head assembly together, just some quick tips. I like to lay things out basically from the hub on the order all the way out to the bolt. And the way we're doing that, we have this little washer. So I've already got half of this on here. I've already got the little sleeve in there, so make sure you don't forget that little sleeve, otherwise you'll have play in your spindle. But from there, the way everything is going in, we'll start with this little rubber grommet and then the dampener. So it'll be those 2 guys. And then after you put those in will be this thing, which is the washer with the little indentation. And the smaller part with the indentation is going to face towards the grip. And so the flat side The big broad flat side is going to face towards the center hub. So it'll be like that. And that's all explained in the manual. So we're going to have those guys go in there, and then this will be between the hub and the grip. And we've got the grip. Inside the grip we'll have this larger washer, larger diameter washer, then the thrust washer with the larger inner diameter. And if you want to be able to tell the difference between that, if you're able to put it on and wiggle it like that, that's the larger inner diameter, the one that's going to be going towards the outside. With the smaller inner diameter, once you put it on there, you won't be able to wiggle. So make sure the races are facing towards the thrust bearing. Make sure your thrust bearing is packed with grease. I've got mine with grease on both sides. You can get yourself some, I've got some Super Lube synthetic grease, but any kind of silicone grease like this will be good. And it will be this thicker, smaller inner diameter bearing, which will basically be pressing up against the spindle shaft. And it'll all be held in with this big screw. Make sure you put thread lock on there. What I like to do sometimes is actually just take one of these drivers, put all the little pieces in it in the order that it will go on, like so, and then that makes it a little easier when I'm going to apply it inside the blade grip. So we'll finish putting this thing together and show you the completed product once the head is done. Okay, next step is just putting these arms on here. Pretty simple process with all the little parts that we have left. I've got them laid out here. We've got this long thing, so basically what we do is put that in here first, and then we're going to put all the other little parts in there. The bearings, we've got these little bearings that push into the arms on each side. This little washer, this screw, so it's going to go through all these little parts. This part is going to face towards the outside like this, and when you're done, basically this is what you're going to have. It's going to look like this, and everything's going to move nice and smooth. Okay, and here we have the final assembly of the head. The grip should be moving nice and smooth. Everything's really tight. There's not really any play. These should be on nice and tight, but these should also be moving nice and smooth, nice and easy. And got these screwed on. I didn't see like a necessary size here, so we'll probably be measuring that up later when we set up the head and the electronics. Didn't say to put the main shaft in here yet. I think we're going to do that as part of the frame, and then we'll end up putting the swash plate and the head on that whole assembly. So this is the completed head, the end of this section, and now we will move on to the next part, which will be the frame.